Good evening, everyone. Before I start, I want to take this opportunity to thank organizers, Dr. Data, and the team for giving me the opportunity to come and present my paper here. This paper is about examining the short-run effect of corporate governance on Ghana SIC's financial performance. And the authors are myself, Emmanuel Attah Kumah Amponsah, Professor George Oppong, Appiagyei Ampong, Professor Michael Owusu-Akomeah, Gbate Joshua, and then Danso. We are from Ghana Communication Technology University, Ghana. Corporate governance is described as having, before I start, we all know about corporate governance as the systems of rules, practices, procedures, data by and controlled by organizations to operate effectively, efficiently, to the best interest of stakeholders. Okay, so this is about how corporate governance affect the performance of business organizations. So the introduction of corporate governance is described as having legitimacy, accountability, and competence in the realm of policy and delivery of services by simultaneously respecting the law and human rights. Ampong 2024. In the literature of corporate governance, many studies have been done to investigate the association between firm performance and good corporate governance in both developed and developing countries. Ampong 2024. So one literature stream found that corporate governance is positively associated with firm performance, confirmed by Amponsah. On the contrary, other studies show a negative relationship between corporate governance and firm performance. Yensu, Osei, and Attah, 2017. However, there is no investigation which focused on the impact of corporate governance on firm performance of SIC insurance in Ghana. SIC state insurance company in Ghana. Therefore, the study examined the short-run effect of corporate governance on Ghana's SIC financial performance. So some of the literature review are corporate governance. Corporate governance review by, we have Pandey and Pandey 2020. And then we also have financial performance, that is Christoph and Chirico 2019. Some of the theories we use are agency theory. We use the stewardship theory. And the methodology, descriptive statistics, and the variables used. The independent variables. That is the dependent variable, the financial performance, that return on asset and return on equity. The independent variables are board size, board composition, CEO tenure, and the control variables are firm size. Discussion and result. Here are the statistics of our variables. Firstly, the mean return on asset stands at 1.9531, indicating the average profitability and efficiency of these firms in generating earnings from their assets. Secondly, the board composition with a mean of 2.0040 suggests a moderately diverse mix of directors and their qualifications in overseeing company affairs. Furthermore, the board size averaging at 2.0261 suggests a relatively moderate size board of directors involved in decision-making process. CEO tenure with a mean of 1.916 signifies the average duration CEOs have held their positions, reflecting stability or turnover within leadership. Lastly, the mean firm size at 2.1464 hints at the company's scale and magnitude in terms of revenue or market capitalization. These metrics collectively offer insight into the financial health, governance, leadership stability, and overall size of the sampled firms. We use the ARDL model, and this is the result. The findings in the table reveal that the board size coefficient was 0.2966, and the probability was 0.4721. Based on the findings, it is possible to conclude that board size had a favorable influence on return on asset in the short term. However, it was irrelevant since the chance was 0.4721, which was greater than 0.05, rendering it insignificant. It is possible to conclude that board size has no influence on SIC's financial success in their near run. In the short term, the result agreed with Al, Macari, Pulley, and Hosen 2016, and R, Shamari and Shak 2018 investigations, which found that both sides had little effect on financial success. In addition, the board compensation coefficient was negative 0.0285 with a probability of 0.8953. Based on the findings, it is possible to conclude that both sides had a negative influence on return on assets in the short run. However, it was irrelevant since the probability was 0.8953, which was greater than 0.05, rendering it unimportant. It is possible to conclude that both competition has no influence on SIC's financial success in the near run. The study's short-run findings corroborate those of Chire and Owusu 2021 analysis, which concluded that there is no substantial relationship between board composition and financial success. Further, the CEO tenure at business coefficient was negative 1.9736 with a probability of 0.0597. According to the findings, CEO tenure at a business has a considerable negative influence on return on assets in the short run. It was significant at the 1% level because the probability was 0.008, which was less than 0.01, and hence significant. It is possible to conclude that CEO years at SIC have a substantial short-term impact on financial success at SIC. The result is negative impact on financial performance. In the short run, for every unit increase in CEO tenure at SIC, there is a 1.97364 in return on assets, and vice versa. The findings are consistent with the findings of Gatno A and Juliano A 2021 investigations, which claim that CEO tenure might have a detrimental impact on financial performance at certain levels. The result of firm size of SIC were similar, just that the coefficient was negative 59.6836 and a probability of 0.0000. The results were significant at 1% due to the probability in the short run. Also, the result meant that 1% increase in firm size will cause a 59.6836% decrease in return on assets at SIC in the short run. And the inverse is true. The result of this study relates to Jam and Wu 2015 study of the possibility of having a negative impact of firm size on financial performance applies. Summary of findings. The autoregressive approach turned into used inside the study to estimate the short-run impact. The analysis relied on SIC yearly data time series from 2010 to 2023. The study's dependent variables were return on assets. The impartial factors have been board length, board composition, and CEO tenure at SIC, and the company size was the control variable. The investigation discovered that the board size coefficient was 0.2966, and the probability was 0.4721 based on the short-run findings. This indicated that in the short run, board size had no influence on SIC's financial success. In addition, the board composition coefficient was negative 0.0285 with a probability of 0.8953. In other words, the board composition has little influence on SIC's financial success in the near run. In addition, the CEO tenure coefficient was negative 1.9736 with a probability of 0.0008. The findings demonstrated that CEO tenure at SIC had a considerable negative impact on SIC short-run term financial success, as confirmed by Incado and then Yoniato 2021. The company size was employed as a control variable in this study. Firm size had a coefficient of negative 62.030 and a probability of 0.000 based on the long-run outcomes. This suggests that the long-term commercial enterprise length has a terrible substantial influence on SIC return on assets because the likelihood was less than 0.01 at 1% level. The effect was substantial also. So the result of the SIC company size were identical, with the exception of that coefficient was negative 59.6836, and the probability was 0.000 because the likelihood, the results were significant at 1%, level. Conclusion, the study indicated that the board length has a short-term beneficial influence on return on assets. Furthermore, the board composition has little immediate impact on SIC's financial performance. The study revealed that CEO tenure at SIC had a considerable negative influence on short-term financial assets at SIC. The analysis found that business size had a negative for extensive influence on SIC return on property in the short term. This concludes that the short-run effect of corporate governance is statistically significant and have effect on Ghana SIC's financial performance. And this also confirmed by Amponsah et al. And Owusu-Akomeah. Recommendations. Based on the findings of the study, several guidelines can be made to enhance the financial performance at SIC. Firstly, the study concluded that board length had a positive impact on return on assets in the short run. Therefore, it may be worth considering increasing the board size temporarily at potentially improve short-term financial performance. By expanding the board, SIC can benefit from a wider range of perspectives and expertise, which can purpose greater effective choice making and advance financial outcomes. Secondly, the study found that board composition does not have a vast effect on financial overall performance at SRC in the short run. This suggests that focusing entirely on composition as a determinant of financial performance may not yield the desired result. Instead, it is important for SIC to prioritize other aspects of board effectiveness, such as diversity, skills, and expertise. By ensuring a diverse and competent board, SIC can leverage a broader range of knowledge and experience to drive better financial performance. Lastly, the study discovered that organization length had a negative great effect on return on assets at SRC in both the short term. This indicates that as the company grows, there may be challenges in maintaining optimal financial performance. It's imperative for SRC to closely monitor and manage the impact of increasing firm size on operational efficiency and profitability. Strategies such as streamlining processes, improving resource allocation, and fostering a culture of innovation and agility can help mitigate the negative consequences of business enterprise during on economic standard performance. Thank you.